Working with Joe here. Joe is 17 years old. Going to be playing golf team again this year. Is a high 40s, low 50s golfer for 9 holes. Looking to improve and become hopefully a golfer that shoots around 45 consistently, and then from there just kind of improves annually. He's still at a young age, so he's got a lot of potential and definitely has the ability to continue to go lower. And we'll see here on the left side when we improved his positions that he's definitely more than capable motion-wise of being potentially something like a single-digit handicap with the appropriate practice. So a lot of potential there, a lot of good stuff going on already. But you can kind of see from the video on the right when we play this one that there was definitely some work to be had, and you can see where the misses were. But it really wasn't much to change it. It's just going to feel very uncomfortable for a temporary amount of time. So show you the one on the right first. So this was his initial setup position when he showed up. Certainly some benefits here. Position's kind of coming right down that left arm, which isn't terrible. However, obviously you can see from his posture position, feet are way outside the shoulder lines. And that's going to lead to some issues where he essentially lacked pivoting into his trail leg, and instead was doing a very aggressive reverse pivot, as you can kind of see here. And all that is someone might watch that and be like, well, just don't do that. And he really had no choice but to do this, just based on his setup position. Now, this would be a move that I would teach or work with someone if we're trying to create massive power, like a long drive kind of guy. Something from this position, as long as on the downswing they were able to really push off the ground and launch. However, this isn't a position that we want for someone that's trying to be just a consistent golfer. So right here from this position, as he starts coming now into his downswing, you can see the reverse pivot's pretty simple. He starts from the front position and he has to start working to his trail leg instead, and that's where you can see that club start to cast. Now it's very back. Again, very vertical. Hands are back. A lot of hands released just to try to hit it. That's where often his mishits were those drop kicks that still went fairly straight, but just lacked a lot of consistency, and he just wasn't able to sustain it. And that's also when we moved to clubs like 4-irons and hybrids and things like that. He would often hit so far behind it that it was almost the ball just didn't go anywhere. So that was really the biggest improvement needed. We really couldn't touch on any other mechanical positions until we made that posture change. So now we move over to this left one, and you can see radical changes in the posture. So we go right down the shoulder lines here. Really nice, just for comparison. A bit different, as we can see there. And then alone, just by changing that and standing a little bit more upright, now the pivot, now there's still a little bit of a reverse pivot, which is kind of a natural motion, but this position here is starting to work away from that. And now he's actually coiled up a little bit, so you can see that right leg is much improved compared to this right here. So if we just draw another line here, change the color. Right, so huge improvement there just from the angle of that right leg, and that's going to lead to a much easier transition, into that downswing. And now the hands are pointing this way, as opposed to this way. So again, rapid improvements, complete reversal from an impact position and a posture change. Now the only issue is, this one on the left's easy to look at because he's not using a ball. For those at home that maybe were like, yeah, of course the swing's better because he's taking a practice swing. Obviously that's what you have to do, but it's just part of the process. When you're trying to make aggressive changes, especially in posture, you have to do that kind of feel versus real battle. And so what we did was we took this video on the left, showed him so he could go, oh, wow, that's a lot different. And that made him realize that this is the change that I have to make because it is that much better. It's that much more efficient. It's going to be that much more effective. You can also see now the finish, too, alone. I mean, the one on the left is what you would see on TV. One on the right, that's the one you see in those pro-ams. So huge difference there just in the finish alone, and all that just stems from being in a better position here. Much easier transition down and through. So, Joe, if you're listening, use this one on the left as a blueprint. This is the one that you want to set up on. So we talked about more upright setup, narrow stance, stay inside the shoulders a little bit more, feel very tall, and really just let the body swing and motion through just like any other athletic motion. All right?